It's perversely amusing to see how so many pundits in the left-leaning media party are applauding the Prime Minister and his assorted cabinet ministers, noting how they are saying all the right things when it comes to COVID-19 precautions. Well, they are saying all the right things, but as the saying goes, deeds speak. And when it comes to doing the right things, well, I'm kind of having a Clara Peller moment right now.
Where's the beef?
Earlier today, Justin Trudeau said that come Wednesday, the borders will be closed to non-Canadian citizens, with the exception of immediate family members, permanent residents, diplomats, air crews, and U.S. citizens. Really? Do you believe that? Do you think for 1 second that Roxham Road will now be closed to illegal migrants? I highly doubt that. Maybe it's time to visit that border crossing again. And anyway, immediate family members, well, that could be non-Canadians too, can't it? In fact, some cabinet ministers are actually lying about the supposed COVID-19 precautions. I'm sorry, there's just no way to sugarcoat that, folks. Take, for example, Bill Blair, who used to be Toronto's police chief. Now, Mr. Blair knows a lot about safety, especially when it comes to keeping himself safe. Did you know that Bill Blair doesn't actually live in his crime-ridden riding of Scarborough Southwest? Oh no, Blair resides all the way across Hogtown in Forest Hill, one of the city's wealthiest and safest communities. Anyway, here's Blair's tweet. Since the disease first began to spread in Hubei, we immediately took action by enhancing our border measures through additional screening, questions, examinations, and advice to mitigate the risk to passengers and others. Well, I'm sorry, but Blair is indeed lying about those added measures. And yes, I have the beef to back up that statement. Check out our January visit to Toronto's Pearson International Airport in January, in which we asked travelers arriving from China if they were being subjected to any extra screening. Hi, are you just arriving from China? Yeah. Just wondering, were you asked any special screening questions by security? When you were coming through customs, did they ask you if you had any coughing symptoms, fever, anything like that?
No, actually, just asking how long have you been in China, which city? But through the machine, I'm asked about, are you came to the Wuhan before? Yeah.
And that was it then?
Yeah, just, yeah.
Thank you, sir. When you went through customs, was there any kind of special screening? Did they ask you questions about fever or coughing?
No, actually they don't. They just ask where you come from and that's it.
And even though you came from China, they didn't do any kind of additional screening whatsoever? They just waved you through?
Yeah, I mean, they have a question on the machine, ask you, have you been to that city, have a fever? And then that's all.
That's all, okay then. So you didn't notice any kind of special screening out of the ordinary then?
No.
Okay then. And where in China have you arrived from, sir?
I arrived from Shanghai.
And then, more recently, we popped by Pearson to interview Iranians and Iranian Canadians flying into Toronto from the Middle East via London, England. And shockingly, no enhanced screening and no mandatory quarantines, even though these people were flying in from the #2 hotspot in the world when it comes to the number of patients who have died and are sick with COVID-19. But hey, the feds, for whatever reason, they're prepared to roll the dice when it comes to public safety, it would seem. Suddenly, it would appear they are, fiscal conservatives when it comes to investing in the equipment that would screen people flying in from the world's hot zones. And hey, if jet setters really, really promise, and I'm talking pinky swear here, that they are going to self-quarantine for the recommended 14 days, well, who are we to question the honor system?
That's an excerpt from my daily show, The Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.